Greetings ladies and mental gents, and welcome to my channel, where I like to make audio narrations of various stories from the internet. In this video, we will be focusing on a story from the subreddit HFY, called What Plagues You, written by Plusium. The link to the original will be down below, and, as always, I hope that you enjoy. This was a strange realm. Well, strange for him. The modern sensibilities hardly meshed with the die-hard medieval viewpoint shared throughout the locale. Kind of a given, though. It was a medieval world. Most of the time, it was noticeable. General conversation was similar to conversing with a foreigner back on Earth, complete with thick accents. But there were times that the differences just jumped out at him. Wait, so you just cut off his arm open and let him bleed? That seems inordinately stupid. He didn't say that, of course. Not only would it make him lose credibility that he'd slowly built up, but it would also be inordinately stupid of him to expect them to comprehend what he was saying. No, what he said was something a little more cryptic. Madam, while your ways are still undoubtedly effective, I know a far more effective ritual. He winced under his mask. Undermining this woman could be fatal. He was good at undermining people, though more often than not, he was the person in question. Do you, doctor? The tall for this world, she barely came up to his ribs. Elf Noble raised an eyebrow. And, perchance, what would that be? Aye, 'tis an ancient ritual of my people, one that roots are shrouded in mystery. It works by bleeding the victim's pain through the wound, purging any bad spirits that might have settled. All rubbish, rubbing alcohol on the wound did none of these things, but she didn't need to know that. Just like she didn't need to know about his lack of qualifications, or his rounded ears, or rounded stomach. The mask covered a lot more than his physical appearance. Very well, doctor, I trust that you can handle this case then. She gestured at the young boy laying on the crude bed, clutching a large gash on his arm. He glanced to his right and the older man, and passed out in pain. Arm bloodied, it would be hard to do a worse job than she had. Either my left nut. He snorted at his internal joke. Very well, behold my ancient tonic. With a dramatic flare of his flowing black cape, he procured a small metal case holding a rather strong gin and tonic, happily provided by the nice little pub down the road. He took a length of linen bandages off the silent attendant and stoppered the bottle with them. He upended the case, soaking the bandages, and returned it to its proper vertical orientation. Give me your arm, boy. The boy stared back, fear in his eyes, a little pointed ears twitching. The boy slowly extended his arm and looked up into the man's expressionless mask, attracted to the large beak of a simple bone. Mister, will it hurt? Nah. In one quick motion he grabbed the injured arm and poured a liberal amount of alcohol on the wound. As scrubbed it with the end of the bandages, the boy cried out in pain, and approximately no frecks were given by any of the occupants in the room. Ripping off the dirty section of the bandage, the man wrapped his rest of the wound, creating a snug fit. He held the bandage shut and offered it to the attendant, yanking the boy with his motions. Impressive work, doctor. You move fast. The noble lady seemed impressed with his work, if not so much with the technique. Will it work? You'll see. Next. Hopefully, the man thought. The man had a little patience, and he was being paid per customer, and the more he could get done, the less chance that he had of being anally probed by his landlord. Feisty young lady. The rest of the day passed fast enough, and soon the man found himself flopping down in his bed, and he ripped the plague doctor mask off of his face and flung it across the room, whipping the sweat off of his forehead. Frick me, they're all useless, he proclaimed, woefully ignorant of his own medical inadequacies. Who the frick blunt lets to clean a wound? And leeches, what the frick? Honestly, they'd all be dead without me. He followed up, again ignorant of the fact that he'd been in a world mere days. He groaned as his thoughts flashed back to the day he'd arrived. And so the man says, "That's not a leech, That's my wife." The man paused, waiting for the inevitable laughter to follow. When it didn't, he blinked and looked around confused, promptly ignoring the grassy hillocks taking up the space where his living room walls did. Last time he'd looked, the splotch on the couch wasn't there. "Billy, did you spill the beer on my couch again?" Again he looked around, seeking the Billy in question. Something in the grassy field surrounding him caught his eye, and he bent down on his couch, reaching the small item of glass. "Frick sakes, John, what have I told you about smoking in the house?" Then it clicked. Damn, last time I checked, the living room wasn't this open plan. He whistled in appreciation and stood up. He turned around slowly, taking in the bright blue sky and the rolling hills. "So I'm so remarkably fricked." Instincts took over. Stats, menu, inventory, help? Nothing appeared. "Fricked with a Moby huge. That's me." He stared blankly at the couch that was inconspicuously sliding back through the hole in space-time. He blinked, and the couch disappeared. He blinked. "Hey, wait, get back here." He jumped at the spot the couch had been, some primal part of his lizard brain declaring that the sneaky thing had just turned invisible, and he hit the soft grass hard. Well, frick. 10 minutes later, he walked along a stream, following downstream, trying to drown out the butterflies in his stomach with a tirade of self-banter. It wasn't working. I mean, this probably isn't another world. I probably passed out and the boys dropped me off in a field somewhere. No way that this is another world. He suppressed the memory of the couch sneaking off back to his house via an Uber portals. And he ignored the suspiciously dragon-shaped thing flying overhead. Yeah, probably just a prank. He walked quickly as if trying to outspeed walk his inner turmoil. Another world. Ha! As if that was for those crappy fantasy novels, with no-life nerds who were weirdly good-looking face, and who suddenly gains magical self-motivation skills. He conducted a survey of his body parts. Yep. Everything still wants me to die. No magical motivation for me. Therefore, conclusion, absolutely positively, no way in hell guaranteed that this is another world. Just a particularly pretty wash paddock. The rolling hills subsided for a moment, and he saw a group of noticeably short people, fighting what looked to be a lizard with a bone mask that looked suspiciously like a plague doctor. See, they even have a hobbit people. He waved enthusiastically at the brave hobbits fighting the beast, and the one looked over at him. After a short delay, it waved back. Grin set on his face, he turned away just in time to notice that the large lizard bite the friendly hobbit in half, and continued on its merry whistling way. See, not another world, just Wales. End of this part of the story. If you enjoyed this story and wish to support the author, the link is down below. If you would like to support this channel, there are numerous ways to do so. They will also be listed in the description down below. But the easiest way to help this channel is to share it, subscribe, and like. And, as always, I will see you all in the next video, and I hope that you have a good one. Cheers!